driving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning. Oh, nobody quite here yet. So. Tell you what, it's been a week. It's been a heck of a week. I give it to the 3-minute mark and I will get started. For rewatchers, you know you can fast forward. I think I gave it that option. So you can get it. So here's a little trick. Rewatchers, you can just fast forward to 3 minutes if you want. Of course, I sometimes I talk during it too, but a lot of times I just sit here. So, kind of like this. Hey, good to see you, Mr. Leisure. I haven't had a chance to listen to your Thursday nighter. I'm going to try and get to that today. Good to see you, brother. So, yeah, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get started. All right. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm going to be your host today. Me and Mr. Mraz. Love me some Mraz. I was awfully drunk at the concert. We were actually sitting in general admission, and Dion decided to be an asshole. I went walking down, and I started messing with some other people. I don't remember. My wife would be able to tell the story better. But anyway, we were told that if I didn't stop, we were going to get kicked out. So we went back to our seats in the 4th row. Something like the 4th row. Is probably more like the 10th. But I got much better seats. Anyway, let's get started with the way of strength. We are going to be talking about fear today. That evil corroding thread that may as well be classified with stealing. It seems to cause just as many problems, right? Seems to cause just as many problems. Why? Because fear is very selfish. Can be. It can be in the beginning until you start to utilize fear, because you can utilize it. Just like anything else in your life, you can utilize it. Whether you're going to utilize it for the good or the bad is something entirely different. Okay? And fear tends to work differently than other things. And I call it other things because, and I know for some people it is, but for me, fear is not a character defect. Okay? Because most of my character defects, they aren't necessarily removed, but a lot of them are taken away and replaced by something else. Fear does not subside. So my fear doesn't subside. I gain more courage. I know it sounds the same, but for me, the feelings I get and the action that happens seems to be different. So that's just why I'm bringing it up. Where was I starting? Okay. I'm going to start page 67. For those of you reading along, page 67, we avoid retaliation. We avoid retaliation or argument. We wouldn't treat sick people that way. If we do, we destroy our chance of being helpful. We cannot be helpful to all people, but at least God will show us how to take a kindly and tolerant view of each one. Referring to our list again, and this is the fourth step. Putting out of our minds the wrongs others have done. Okay, so during your fourth step, you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna have to stop thinking of what the other person had done wrong. You're gonna need to focus on maybe how you had a part to play in it. Just before this, we talked about how a lot of our problems were of our own making, that we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. They are going to retaliate. Normies are going to retaliate. Okay? A lot of times. They don't always. Sometimes you'll do something to somebody who's very spiritual that knows the process of forgiveness and can forgive you because they have the way of strength and they can do it immediately. Forgive somebody immediately? Morning, Chris. Good to see you. It's like we got the Primary Purpose Club here. Kind of. It's out where I know you all from. So we resolutely look at our own mistakes. Where had we been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened? Though a situation had not been entirely our fault, we tried to disregard the other person involved entirely. Where were we to blame? The inventory was ours, not the other man's. When we saw our faults, we listed them. We placed them before us in black and white. We admitted our wrongs honestly and were willing to set these matters straight. Here comes the fun part. Love you too, Chris. Notice that the word fear is bracketed alongside the difficulties with Mr. Brown, Mr. Jones, the employer, and the wife. This short word somehow touches about every aspect of our lives. It is an evil and corroding. It is an evil and corroding thread. The fabric of our existence was shot through with it. It set in motion trains of circumstance which brought us misfortune we felt we didn't deserve. But did we not ourselves set the ball rolling? Sometimes we think fear ought to be classified with stealing. It seems to cause more trouble. Yesterday, I went through a fear. I went through the whole thing yesterday. Right? Something came up. A lot of you already know. It turns out I'm missing several years of my life. I'm figuring out. Right? But I was scared. Ego is all of it. Ego is fear. It's true. Right? The fear that we're not going to get what we want, or the fear that we may lose something we already have, like our sobriety. Right? Well, I don't want to give away my sobriety. It's mine. But you can't keep it unless you give it away. Just give it a try. If not, take it back. I say that because it's going to work. I already know it's going to work because I've been through it. See, I've worked through enough fears that yesterday, even though that was a huge fear, it didn't matter how big it was. The process is the same. See, the problem wasn't very big. It was Dion making it bigger than it needed to be. So I came on here, I told on myself, and it no longer had power. And I was able to go on with the rest of my day. Today I wake up, I'm no longer in that fear. I've moved on. I have moved on. It has been taken care of. Do I have all the answers? No, not even close. Do I need them all right now? No, I don't. And I'm not going to get them all right now. I don't think that's the way God wants it, right? We reviewed our fears thoroughly. We put them on paper. Yeah, during this, we do what's called, here we go. We always seem to come back to the chili peppers here. So give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away now. I can't do it for too long, or Facebook will come along and be like, you have music in your video that, because I sing those songs so perfectly. Like, is that Danny California? All right. So we put them on paper, even though we had no resentment and connection with them. We ask ourselves why we had them. Fear list. Did you make a fear list? I did. It includes spiders and snakes. It includes heights. It includes things. Okay, so like, I'm not afraid of height. You know what fear, you know what it is? It's control. It's lack of control. Hey, my wife asked me the other day, she said, Dion, how come when we go over here, it's not hard for you, but when we go over here, it's hard for you? And it came down to the fact that I don't have control. Because when we go over here, I know it's going to take me 10 minutes and we're going to be back. When we go over here, it might be God knows how long. And that fucks with my PTSD. But now that I'm even more of aware of it, because I wasn't quite defining it like that. So it was I'm glad my wife brought it up that way, because now I have a different way to look at it. And now I can consider those things challenges and start meeting them. We had to ask ourselves why we had them. Wasn't it because self-reliance failed us? Self-reliance was as far as it went, but it didn't go very far enough. Some of us once had great self-confidence, but we didn't fully solve the fear problem or any other. When it made us cocky, it was worse. I'm going to give you a great example. You killed a spider. You come back 2 minutes later. It's not there. Don't tell me you didn't get a little fear that spider's now fucking hunting for your ass. You tried to kill him. I'd come after you. I'm laughing at this, but it's true. I'm laughing because it's true. Do I still have fear of spiders? Yes, I do. Okay. But I don't run like I used to. I don't react like I used to. I can slowly move away instead of running like if it's in the house, I take it outside. Unless it looks like it could hurt me, and then I kill it. This is where, okay. Anyway, perhaps there is a better way. We think so. For we are now on a different basis, the basis of trusting and relying upon God. It's so much better. Could you imagine yesterday what it would have been like for me if I didn't have God in my life? That would have been a moment. Something like that could put DR in the hospital. Because it drives me crazy. Not knowing. It scares me. And it scares me because I have a fear that people will put me away just because I'm crazy. And it's a legitimate fear. It's happened to me more than once. Yes, thank God for God. We are in the world to play the role He assigns, just to the extent that we do as we think He would have us, and humbly rely on him, does he enable us to match calamity with serenity. That was the outcome yesterday because of this. Because I have taught myself that just because something is happening is not the end of the world, Dion. In fact, quite often not. It's not that big of a deal. I don't have huge problems. I mean, I do, but they're not like they were. I see them differently. Here comes the fun stuff. We never apologize to anyone for depending on our Creator, and I don't. In fact, today I'm going to be advocating something for myself. Right? I'm posting that one. Overthinking creates problems that aren't even there. Yeah. Yep. It's funny because I was actually talking to my sponsee about it a little bit, right? And he caught me what ifing, right? He's like, Dion, you're kind of what ifing there, aren't you? I was so fucking proud of him that he saw it. You're what? My sponsee can't help me. I'm not beyond that. No. And I don't have to apologize for that because I depend on my Creator, right? I have a lot of courage because I've done a lot of things with God, hand in hand. We've walked through some of the most scary stuff in my life together, right? And because of that, I'm able to do things like advocate for myself. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to explain that and wrap up. We can laugh at those who think spirituality the way of weakness. Oh, 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 oh. Can't do it that way. That's cocky. Paradoxically, is the way of strength. The verdict of the ages is that faith means courage. All men of faith have courage. Do they not? Do you believe that the Pope has courage? I do. Look at the way the man walks around. He's got a lot of courage in him. All men of faith have courage. They trust their God. We never apologize for God. Instead, we let him demonstrate through us what he can do. We ask him to remove our fear and direct our attention to what he would have us be. At once, we commence to outgrow fear. What does this mean? It means, what does all this mean? It means you're growing the fuck up. That's it. Means you're growing up. Can you hold off on the clicking portion just for a second? Thank you. I don't think they can hear it, but it's kind of getting to me. So at once, we commence to outgrow fear. So anyway, so I've been doing this stuff with my guys' NFL stuff, right? And my friend David, God bless his heart, okay? He doesn't understand some things. He keeps thinking that this whole thing is going to work if I go to church and volunteer. And he doesn't understand that he reached out to me for help. I did not reach out to him. Okay? It's stigma. He doesn't even know he's doing it. He thinks because I am broke and I am an alcoholic that I don't know what I'm doing. Or I'm being treated differently. I ain't starting at the fucking bottom of your church. What's wrong with you? I'm doing this for 20 years. I'm a speaker. I make things happen. Am I above sacrifice and doing service work? No. But I do my service work. I do my service work. And I've already told them that if me going to church is contingent, it won't happen because recovery doesn't work that way. Recovery doesn't work that way. So I'm going to have to introduce the word stigma to him and show him how he's doing it directly to me. And that we can't have that. And it's time to start fundraising, or he can move on. I'm not going to sit around and wait for him either. God's got a plan. I don't know what it is, but he's got one. Right? And what is that? That's me saying, hey, I'm a child of God, and if you want my help, these are my resources. You can utilize them. Okay? That can get to anyone. Even here, I have to think, is this pride? No, it's not. I've already thought through all this. I did. Well, do I have to? And I talked with God, but I do a ton of service work. I wrote, there's no argument between God and I on that. So, no, it's about doing it the right way. Okay. I don't feel comfortable with that. I said I would open some recovery meetings there. I'm happy to do that. But it's got to be recovery. I'm 52. I'm not a street teen. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. That's a pretty big compliment coming from you. So, all right, that's it. I'll let you guys get back on with your Saturdays. I got a lot of stuff to do around here, so I suppose I should get to it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It was good to see y'all. I love you. Peace out, and have a day.